himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nurburgring in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And the Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new season of the Tail Racing Ring Runners. It's time for the opening round and the FF1600 will be our first car of choice. As always in this series, the track stays the same, the number of laps stays the same, but the car changes every week. And this time we're starting out with open wheel machinery, the FF1600, one of the slower cars that we'll be using throughout this season. It's myself, Ewan, and James Parfitt, along with you for hopefully the whole of the season, certainly for this opening round that is going to be started and headed up by Raymond Tier, who's taken pole in that qualifying session. Evan Crapwell, the champion from season 3 of 2024, is alongside him, with Corey Stas, who was runner-up last season, alongside David Mull on row 2. Scott Sadler and Dan Kosick are on row 3 together, ahead of Dean Dilson and AJ Condon. It's Jamie Bender with the final time on the board, and then you get to those who couldn't get one in during that qualifying session. Matt Green to round out the top 10. Dave Hernandez and Patrick Messich on the 6th row, ahead of Jason Hightower and Chase Petschon. Alexander Betash is 15th, ahead of Dylan Hessling and Anthony Serino, in 17th position. And it looks like at the moment we're going to get them all on the grid for the start of this race. Good to be back for a new season, James, and we're getting things off to a steady start with some of the slowest cars. In fact, we don't know what the final car is going to be, of course, but I reckon out of the 11 ones that we know, this may well be the slowest.
Yeah, I think you might be right, to be blatantly honest. We can bring you up to schedule while they are just sitting on the grid here as well. And you can see we're going next week, it will be the Audi 90 GTO. Then we're off to the GT4s, then the FIA F4s, Dallara P217s, looking forward to that. The mini stocks, well, that's going to be an interesting one. Mustang FR500s, the Porsche Cups, TCRs, Pro Mazdas, the Arcas are back, the Radical SR8s, of course, and then as per normal, December the 11th will be the Duck Week. But I think there's some good cars there this season. I'm looking forward to the Audi 90s. I think the P217s are going to be interesting, and I'll be really looking forward to how the mini stocks get on, because I think the mini stocks are a great car, and I think these people are going to do really, really well in it. So yeah, lots to take in this season, and some interesting car of choices.
Yeah, there is. Especially looking forward to next week, actually. The Audi 90 GTO will be a bit of fun. It's an iconic car, makes an iconic noise, and I wouldn't say it's especially suited to this circuit, but it'd be good to give it a go. The drivers are off on the warm-up. Well, I say warm-up lap. It's not a warm-up lap. It's just the drive down the Dottingham to start the race. I don't think Anthony Serino is going to be starting this race, but AJ Condon and Dave Hernandez are from the pit lane. Not really sure what the strategy is for that. I mean, turn 1 is going to be a big moment of heads up for absolutely everybody because of how tight it is and because everybody will be piling down into their wants, and with the possibility of contact here, you could be flying through the air, as we saw with a couple of the open wheel races in last season. However, I wouldn't say there's necessarily an advantage to starting from the pit lane, so not sure what the plan is for them. No,
I'm not really sure on that one, to be blatantly honest with you. I think maybe they're trying to avoid turn 1 incident, possibly. But, you know, it's... I don't know, to be honest with you, Mr. O'Leary. I think at the end of the day, it's what they seem to have a choice, and that's what they want to do. Personally, I'd go out and start on the grid. Why not? Have a laugh. You know what I mean? What harm's it going to do?
Well, the problem is it might only be a laugh for about 30 seconds before you crashed at turn 1. And then,
I've had fun with 30 seconds, mate. That's all that matters.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll see if there is a big smash in towards turn 1. Hopefully, everybody's nice and calm and can deal with it. I mean, we will be seeing this start many times, of course. The Nordschleife layout on its own is only being used 3 times, and one of those is the very final round. Of course, we don't know which car is going to be selected, but we know it's going to be one of the free ones, so maybe that helps you narrow it down slightly. And it's, well, I don't think there's a rule against this, but I would take a bet that it's not one of the ones we've used already either. I know there's a real emphasis on free cars being used in this series to really allow you to do as many weeks as possible. Ray 2 did plenty of weeks last season and got on pretty well with this series, winning in the ARCA and the GT4 class with a couple of other podiums to his name as well. He certainly knows how to get it done as the Tail Racing Ring Runners get underway for a new season, the final chance in 2024 to take a victory. It's green flag wave and we are underway for another 4 laps of racing. down in towards turn 1 they go. Theo gets a very good start, and Crutchroad is under pressure from his championship rival from 1 season ago. Corey Stas gets up to second place immediately ahead of Crutchroad. They immediately turn left after the opening corner. They're not doing the full arena section this time around. They're not doing the full Grand Prix circuit either. They're going to turn right before they get to turns 3 and 4. Red 2 has made a good start. He's blinking slightly, but he's made a good start, and he's leading on the Grand Prix track here for the first lap.
Yeah, no real dramas at the moment. Anthony Sereno is in pit lane. I don't believe he's coming out there at the moment in time either. Corey Stas, of course, fighting it out for last season's championship with Evan Krautfield, finishes second. Is he going to go one better this season? Well, we're going to find out how he got on in the first race. Now, I don't know the result. You don't know the result. We don't even know the scores of what went on with this one. So this is going to be really exciting, and one that I feel is going to be a very, very interesting one. For me, it always seems the slower cars bring the better racing, and I think that's one of the things here as we enter into Nords for the very first time.
Chase Petron just gets overtaken there, but Alexander Betash and Patrick Misch as well also goes through here. While blinking slightly, but it's back into life just before they get onto the north side section, and then there are those further back. We've just got Dylan Hessling in 14th, then Dave Hernandez and Eddie Condon, who have indeed made their way out onto the circuit again. But as you say, Anthony Sereno has not changed for 10th place, as well as Jamie Bender's overtaken by Betash onto the Hatson back for the first time. Just seemed that those at the back of the field especially taking this very cautiously early on, and it's kind of what you have to do in this car, really. They're not going to enjoy the curbs. This car doesn't especially like downshifting either, so it is going to be a tiptoe for those at the back especially, but for those at the front, they're more comfortable, and they're racing away. Theo still leads, although Corey Stas is right up behind him at Flugplatz.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with this car, isn't it? We talk about it all the time here, and we can turn around and safely say that they're never going to use second or, first or second. It will be a third time run here easily. You can see Corey Stas and Raymond Theo going side by side at the moment. Stas has just gone through. Theo relegated down into second. Can he get it back, though? Well, it's going to be a very difficult part of him to do this as he goes up through Arenberg and into the unknown forest.
It's been a very good start for Corey Stas. As I mentioned, second in the championship last season, fell short by 21 points. To give you an idea of quite how many that is, the maximum you can get in one round is was 24 last season if you won and got all of the bonus points. So he was within one race win of Evan Krautfield, who's pretty much right behind him here, and who did win the title 1 season ago. Into the Adenauer Forest chicane they go, and what's generally considered the end of the first sector on the north side for us. We've got a car off, and it's Scott Sadler who's off track. Oh, and he's lost his front end as well. Yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. First crash of the season. As we know, we'll be able to take a look at all these incidents after the race, but I bet I can guess what happened there.
Yeah, I don't think it really needs to take a rocket scientist to figure out what went on there. Let's be real about it, you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, is he going to be able to get it back to the pits, or does he have to jump back? Well, he's had to jump back, so that's going to be a 9-minute tow there all on his own, if not more, and he's just going to have to sit there and wait. But at the moment, Corey Stas, Raymond Theo, Evan Krautfield has got a great jump here and doing a great run and breaking away at the moment. They got Dean Diltz is in the back end of this as well, and he's sitting there currently in 4th place with Matt Green 2.3 seconds back after that.
Out of the X-Muller they go.
Oh!
Excuse me, Versiphon. They're about to go into X-Muller. Oh dear, and this is Chase Petron in the wall with Maish, is it? Patrick Maish, it is indeed. Well, not sure what happened between those two at miss, hit, miss, but I think one of them's got a puncture, and what I saw quite a deflated front tyre for one of them. It's not Pettijohn who's somehow got away with this. Is it Mace?
Yes, rear left.
Yes. Looks to... oh no, rear left maybe, is it?
Yeah, as you look at the car.
No, rear right. Sorry, we're looking
right,
at on the left. We don't know our rights and lefts, as it turns out.
Well, as you look at the car, it's rear left, isn't it? As you look at the rear, it's rear right. I don't know. Anyway.
It's rear right on the car, rear left as we're looking at it. But anyway, he's back to the pit lane now because he couldn't get back without taking about 3 years, which is probably how long it would have taken. Corey Stas then on the run up the hill through Kesselchen they go, and it's between Ray 2, Evan Krautfield, and Dean Diltz is here as well. I haven't spoken much about Diltz yet, but he is in 4th place, drafting up to the back of these guys in the background. And look at that, the head of steam he's got, using the triple slipstream to get up the inside into the mud curve and get up into second place. That was smart driving from him, as Krautwoud and Theo especially lifted off on the back of Stas. They didn't want to overtake him just yet. Dean Diltz seized the opportunity and got up into second place.
Yeah, great job from Diltz there as well. And he did a 2-for-1, didn't he? He literally took two of them at the same time, coming into the carousel for the first time here. And is everybody going to be able to make it through? Now, and it's going to be very interesting as well, because I remember looking back at last season, we had obviously the open wheelers that were very, very low to the floor with their wings, wasn't it? The front left and right, as David Andes has just tried to go up the inside of Jamie Bender. Is he going to give him Dave back up? Because if you end up on top of that carousel, there you go. Nope, no. That is a back away before you get there.
By the way, Anthony Serino is circulating, but he's not in standings yet. I believe he will be at either at the end of this lap or the end of the next one. He is going around, and he is the driver just ahead of Jamie Bender, I think, in that battle for 10th place. So just a note on him. Meanwhile, side by side between Theo and Diltz, and this is giving Corey Stas quite a lead. A move around the outside from Raymond Theo to get up into second place, but is it too little, too late? 1.5 seconds is a very big gap to cross already.
Yeah, but they've got obviously the drive coming up as well of the Dottinger Hoe, didn't we? We worked out it was like 1,700 metres of straight that they've got to contend with. So there's plenty of opportunity to close the gap up here. Dan Kosick is closing up to the back of Dave Mole as well. Mole sitting in 6th in that 49 car. If I'm not mistaken, Dave is sitting excited to watch Daddy race cars with his son at home there. So Dave, if you are watching, let us know. We will give you a little bit of a shout out, as he was sat at home watching it with his son, as Evan Krautfield is climbing all over the back of Dean Diltz. It's going to be onto the Dottinger Hoe they go, and I expect Krautfield to go through like an absolute rocket, but Jamie Bender has had a bit of a moment and has dropped down the order to 13th.
Certainly has. That is not ideal. As I said, all incidents will be looked at after the race by us. I'm not talking about stewards, but we'll have replays at the end of the race. Through Gauvenkopf they go, and Corey Stas is leading, but it's 1.3 seconds. So Theo is making some inroads here, and maybe with a good run onto the Dottinger Hoe, they could be right there by end of the lap and into the Tirga for the first time this season. End of the opening lap, the opening round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners for season 4 of 2024 is going to come to a very fast conclusion. I think Evan Krautwoud goes to the outside, but he's going to hit a wall of air as Diltz continues to get the slipstream off too. He's going to be able to draft past on the way up the hill here, and look at how they're all getting closer to Corey Stas, who's going to be drafted now as well. Dean Diltz has got the slipstream from him as Theo just slots back into line with Diltz here. He's doesn't really have anywhere to go. The two are ahead of him. He's looking left and right and he can't go anywhere. And look at this. Stas is getting reeled in like a fish on the end of a fishing rod. And here he goes. Dean Diltz looking for the lead. Not quite. He's going to break late, but he's not quite going to get the lead. Corey Stas will lead the first lap of the season, but only just ahead of the three others.
Tell you what, that gap was 1.2 seconds when they reached onto the Dottinger Hoe, and they literally closed him in at an absolute rapid rate of knots there for Corey Stas. So it goes to show he needs more. Dave Mole's just about, not Dave Mole, Diltz is just about to go up the inside, is he? Oh, it gets the job done. You can see in the background further back, I believe that was Dave Mole, also Dan Kosick were fighting out side by side as well, but his front battle is literally non-stop, and these four cars are going at it hammer and tong. The question is, are the four cars going to get to the end of the race in one piece?
Well, they were three wide in towards turn 3 there for a moment, so the answer would have been no for a brief while, but they've got themselves sorted out now. Team Diltz leads then, ahead of Corey Stas, then Evan Krautwoud, and Raymond Theo. Theo probably the closest to making a move here, but I wouldn't have thought he will, into the fast chicane at the end of the lap here. And just look at Green just lurking, 1.8, 1.9 seconds. The problem is every time they get on a straight, they draft away from him. There is a reverse draft effect, of course, so even the leader gets pushed on a little bit, and that certainly doesn't help those chasing. trying to stay in touch. Onto the Nordschleife they go again then, and I'd imagine the next chance for them to be side by side, and I'm sure they'll take the chance, will be on the way into Arenberg in a few minutes' time.
Yeah, I think that's where going to be the next opportunity. It depends on whether or not these four are going to survive. Matt Green is closing in. Mole and Kosick are also trying to get onto the back as well. If they can attach themselves to Green, they can work as a free and have the same effect as this front four. Oh!
He's gone!
Matt Green!
Oh, no! Such a shame for him. He was closing as well. He was 1 second behind, but then the spin at the Atson back means that he drops back. We saw it in full view just in the background. He has dropped down to 8th place as a result. On board we go with Raymond Tier. Look at the battling ahead. Krotwald doesn't know whether to get alongside here early or stay behind, and he chooses the right option in my mind, staying behind on the way through the Flugplatz. It's a very high-speed corner when you've got the triple slipstream and you're Raymond Tier in this position. Here goes Dean Diltz as well, getting caught by Krotwald and Stas. Who's going to get caught in the middle here? Who's going to get boxed in? It looks like it's going to be Stas. No, it's going to be Krotwald. Or either of them. No, they're going to all truck into line, are they? Not quite. Krotwald goes for it. The reigning champion firing down the inside on the way towards the Arenberg corner. Late on the brakes, right round the outside for Krotwald. Can he make this work? No, not quite. Dean Diltz gets through and stays in the lead of this race just about.
Yeah, he was hanging on there. He was under attack from Krautfeld at an absolute rapid rate of knots. Krautfeld was crawling all over him. Now they're going to drop down. Up the other side they're going to go. They've got a fast left-hander coming up there. Krautfeld manages to take the lead this time. Tio sat in 3rd and Corey Stas they're in 4th place. We've also got Mole and Kosick. They're not leaving each other alone. They're 2.8 seconds now. They were 3.2 at one point, so they are closing in ever so slightly. Everybody else is a little bit further spread out behind. You can see the gaps on the left-hand side, and they obviously will be looking at trying to move forward as much as they can. But it is Evan Krautfeld, Dills, Tio, Corey Stas, and then we've got Mole and Kosick behind them, and we'll see and keep an eye on whether or not Mole and Kosick can close up here.
It's got very close there to Krautfeld, but just about stood on the brakes in time. It's Tio, and then Stas, who has gone from the front at the start of the lap, now is in last place. So that might not be the worst place to be, going on to the Dottinghoe for the final time. If these four stay together, we could be in for quite a finale. And when we used this car last season, I don't remember it quite being like this, or whether I'm getting it mixed up with another machine. It's very possible. But this type of car quite produced this type of racing last season from when we did it, but it's producing quite an opening race right now. We're not yet halfway through, admittedly, but to have four drivers this close together, very encouraging indeed.
Yeah, well, even more encouraging is we've got two more at the back here. Mole and Kosick, you see him just coming over the hill. It's now 2.5 seconds. Again, don't forget that was out at 3.2, just literally a lap ago. So currently at the moment, these guys are doing an absolute stellar job on trying to catch up with the guys in front. And while these four are fighting, they are closing in. So it's going to be interesting here to see whether or not they can keep these gaps to the people behind, because there they are, and they're not very far apart at all.
Well, that was not ideal. There was a whole load of weaving around there. Diltz was out of line initially, but now he's coming through. Don't forget, he made a couple of overtakes on the way towards the Mutkirva last lap, and now he's going for the lead. Oh, very nearly contact on the way up through Kesselsen, and now towards the Mutkirva. He's going to go through Team Diltz here. I think he's got too much speed for Evan Krotwald, but goodness me, that was close. Round the outside, he's going to have to go, and he does successfully. And then Tio and Stas watch on from behind, but you really want to be careful of contact in these cars. Wheel-to-wheel contact could send you spiralling upwards and sideways and cartwheeling down the road, so you've got to be very, very careful to avoid contact, which they very nearly didn't manage a few moments ago.
Yeah, but isn't this the car that we saw last season? Was it this or the Formula V, where somebody ended up mounting a wall and going up into the air at a rapid rate of knots and doing a few pirouettes and turnovers all at the same time because they interlocked wheels, and that instantly shot them up to the air. The gap behind now, remember, we're talking about these guys behind, 2.8 2.3 seconds, 2.4 seconds. It's coming back. Hightower and Green also having a little bit of a ding-dong behind that as well. Jamie Bender, unfortunately, looks like he's had another bit of an issue. We'll pick up on that night, on Jamie Bender's night very, very shortly. Again, though, it's getting interesting as we're coming down into Whipman and on to Brunchen. We'll see how they get on.
Change for 7th as well as Jason Hightower is overtaken. Oh, and a big slide for Dean Dilts. Wow, he got up on the curb there, and he's now going to be in trouble, surely. Or maybe Crapwell is. Don't forget, this was the section of circuit where we saw the side-by-side really commencing. Opening lap, and it allowed Curry Stats to get up to a 1.5 second lead, but even that wasn't enough to break away at the front of this race. And because of that, I'm slightly doubtful that any of these four are going to be able to break away from the rest, because as soon as one of the four will get a second over the others, the other three will work together and surely drag them back. It's a difficult situation to try and get away from.
Exactly. I think Corey Stas has made a mistake, though, because he has lost a bunch of time behind there. You see Stas losing out on 0.7 seconds. If he can stay close, getting onto the Dottingham, he will be okay. So we've got Famous Dave, who I believe that is Dave Mole in a YouTube chat there as well, sitting at home with his with his son or daughter, whichever one. Dave, let me know which one it is as well. So much love to both of you for sitting there watching this. You see the guys in the background, 1.9 seconds now. This could be a six-way fight here, Ewan, and we know what happens generally. We ended up 4 wide in a Formula V last season, so this could be an interesting one, whether or not we can do that again here.
Yes, I'm not overly optimistic, but we'll see. It could happen.
It was an iconic moment.
Yeah, well, yes, but is it going to happen again? Well, Corey Stas is going to have the perfect view of it, and he's going to need quite a good run if he's going to get there as well. Here they go on to the Dottingham then. Raymond too can't really go and pull out too early here, because otherwise he is just going to be stuck in that wall of air, and Crapwell is just going to go through. Now Crapwell goes to the inside. Dilts is going to go backwards now. Pretty hesitant here, doesn't really want to go for this, and neither does Corey Stas. They're pretty hesitant to even go 3 wide. Here goes Tew on the outside then, as Dilts gets right in behind Crapwell. Now he abandons him. Here goes Stas. Is he going to try and take all 3 of them at once? It would be spectacular under the Bilstein Bridge. They're going to go 3 wide instead, and they're all going to commit to it. Oh, there's contact! Oh no! Huge accident as Crapwell and Tew go spiralling out of control and into the wall, and their first round is over. The reigning champion out of the opening round of the season in dramatic circumstances towards the end of lap 2.
Oh, they just had to try and stay a little bit further away from each other, and they didn't, and it all just went completely Pete-tong down the Dottingham for them guys. Raymond Teo, Evan Crouchfield, we'll analyse it a little bit later, but yeah, that was a shame, because that was going to be an absolute almighty battle for that one right to the end of the race.
Oh, you were egging them on to go 3 wide, or 4 wide, sorry. That's why they didn't want to do it, and only even 3 turned out to be a step too far. A real shame, of course, but unfortunately that means now that we're going to have just 2 at the front, and it's Dean Dilts versus Corey Stas. This is Hesselink versus Jamie Bender, by the way, who may have... has he caught up to Hesselink, or had he had another problem? I think he's caught up.
Yeah, he's caught up and passed him.
Yeah. Well, he's passing, trying to.
Yeah, it's not going very far.
No, they've sort of hit terminal velocity together here,
Yeah.
and so they're at the same speed. But now Jamie Bender does go through that bit of extra speed down the hill. AJ Condon into the pit lane. Following in, by the way, Matt Green, who is now down to 9th after a recent pit stop. I did see he went off the road, actually, after getting through on Jason Hightower to lose that position again. I wonder whether that off-track moment included a scrape with the wall, but it was a very short stop from Green. 2.8 seconds short, in fact. 8.4 seconds. And he's back out there again. So after all that, nothing terrible, but he has dropped a couple of places. He's down to 9th.
Yeah, we've got... Oh, is he going to make it? I believe he is this time around. So we're going to jump back up front with Corey Stas and Dean Dilts. We've got Slow Scott in YouTube chat. There was a murder, he's put. I don't know if he said it in a Scottish accent. Might have done.
What?
Have you not seen Taggart?
Murder.
Have you never seen?
No.
Oh my God.
Just watch the replay.
Oh, you should
Public net code.
you should see Taggart. It's absolutely an amazing program. There was a murder. So there we go.
I've never heard that in my life. Meanwhile, over the top of the hill they go. Flugplatz 16 Dilts versus Corey Stas. Down the hill they're going to go in towards Schwedenkreuz before the brakes at Arenberg, of course. If these two fight too much, we could have a restored top 4 here, by the way, because Mull and Kosick are not a million miles away, but I think these two will be mindful of that. They'll know that they were just in a 4-car battle and it went catastrophically wrong, and if they could reduce this battle to just a pair, then I think they'll both be pleased.
Well, they're closing in. They're down to below 2 seconds again. Do you know the interesting thing? We said about this, right? And then Craftfield and Tio at a moment, and these guys went through. So I thought they might have closed back up, but they're still back out at 2.1 seconds again. So Dave Mull and Dan Kosick, not really going anywhere quick at this moment in time. And I thought they might have gained up on the guys in front, but clearly they didn't just quite gain up this time around. So unfortunately for them, they're still 1.8 seconds back now. So this could be that 4-car fight that we were predicting was going to happen. It probably looks like it will happen.
Well, I don't know. I think it's hanging in the balance at the moment between those two groups. We look at the grass verge.
The cameras are rubbish. I'm having to change every minute.
Yeah, I know it's not ideal. By the way, as I mentioned before, if you're not familiar with this series, we use the Nurburgring Nordschleife in every single round of the tail racing ring runners. That's what it's for, of course. And so this is the combined short layout. We won't be using it again, as far as I can see on this schedule. We'll be using the 24-hour layouts for those that follow the Nürburgring 24-hour race. Of course, it's that circuit, so the short first chicane like we have here, but they do use the rest of the Grand Prix layout. The combined VLN, which actually uses the arena, unlike we are today, but does take the right-hand hairpin that we're taking today. The combined long, which is all of the arena and all of the Grand Prix circuit, and then just the Nordschleife itself, which is being used a few times, and that is the shortest of the layouts. Probably the shortest races as a result as well. On board we go with Corey Stas then, and Mull and Kosick all of a sudden not tied together anymore, but Mull is a lot closer, only 1.3 seconds behind.
Yeah, I think Kosick may have just had a moment, along with Matt Green. I think Matt Green's just had a little bit of a moment as well, unfortunately for Matt. Yeah, he's facing the wrong way there, in fact, if I'm not mistaken. He is literally sat down, as I can try and find a camera to actually get me there. But Matt Green is sat down on the side of the road. So we'll try and pick up on the leaders again. But you can see Mull and Kosick just in the background there. And they're still continuing to fight out once more.
That stuff's going to stay through here, I think. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. No, we go around the outside through the Muck curve and holds on. Then Mull and Kosick. Just on the edge now of making it here. Mull is a second behind, and there he goes. So by the time they get on to the next straight, or next straightest section, which will be probably the run down towards Flansgarten, although that's not a very long run, they're really focusing on the Jottinghur. We could well have 4 for the lead all over again. The gaps in the rest of the field are very large indeed. Evan Krupperud is back out in 10th place, by the way, after repairs made to his car. Ray 2 is out of the race, and Matt Green is back in the pit lane again. So big changes here in the standings, and huge implications for the championship as well, as the reigning champion is down in 10th place and having, by his standards, a bad day.
Yeah, definitely. He was Mr. Consistent last season, wasn't he? He was literally always in. I think he missed the podium twice, if I'm not mistaken, all season long. If I believe he missed it, didn't he? In the GT4s, he didn't get a podium, and in the Jeddas, he didn't get a podium as well. And, you know, he was doing an exceptional job. He was just Mr. Consistent. And then, unfortunately, they come together, and that was it on that one. And, well, he's now down in 10th, and he's going to have his work cut out going into round 2.
And he is on board with Dan Kosick here, watching what's going on ahead. By the way, we did use this car, the FF1600, last season, in case you're looking for a bit of a form guide. Krupperud was second on that occasion as well. I was beginning to wonder whether he'd be second for a second year in a row, but that's looking more unlikely at this stage. Pat Labrosse was the winner 1 season ago, but he's not here. The only driver on the podium last time who's got a chance, I would say, of finishing on the podium here, it's the man you're looking at right now in number 13. Dan Kosick was 3rd 1 season ago in this round of the championship when it was, or this car for that last season anyway. That was when it was round 2. This time it's the opener, but he's the only driver really with a chance of getting on the podium for the 2nd season in a row. And right now he's almost in the leading group. 1.5 seconds up to Corey Stas, who's had this kind of lead before, and he's had it ripped away from him.
Yeah, he has there. AJ Condon has got Scott Sadler have just swapped places. Sadler's just got in front of Condon now and has pulled away a little bit. Now, the question is for Stas, is 1.6 enough? Is it going to be enough to get him away from 3 cars that are going to come hurtling at him, right? Dilts is quick. Mole and Kosick have spent most of their whole entire race trying to catch up to the guys in front. So it's now going to be, if Dilts' gap, 1.8 is going up the right way, but I'm not too sure if this is going to be a good idea here, or maybe they need to slot in and almost, I'm not going to say bump draft each other, but stay behind each other.
Together here, it was 1.8 on the start of the straight, and it's only 1.6 now. It's only slowly bleeding down, but it's not going down quickly enough here. And Corey Stas, I think, is going to get onto this final lap with a bit of an advantage, and Mull and Dilts are slightly consumed by their own personal battle now. Here they go down the hill. They are now 1.5 seconds away. This is where, of course, the contact between Krapwoud and Tier was made, and look at the space they're giving to one another. Of course they have to, because that's how racing works, but it does lose them time. Corey Stas out front by nearly 2 seconds onto the final lap in the first race of the season. He's not home and dry yet, but he's got a supreme advantage with 1 to go.
Yeah, as you can see, they're nearly 2 and 3 wide at the back there. Dilts on the right. Mole in 2nd place now in that 49 black machine. You got Kosick going to jump. Oh, I thought he was going to send it 3 wide into turn 1 there. Mole hard on the brakes. He's going to miss it. Oh, okay, just about made it through. This is Corey Stas' win. Now, we did have this last season as well, I believe, in the first round, where Corey Stas was leading right up until about the last 2 corners at the end of the Dottingham going into Tiergarten, and it all went Pete Tong. So I'm hoping it doesn't go Pete Tong for Corey Stas again, but I have seen his position again. Now, one of the things we do need to pick up is Anthony Serino, who was out in the pits. We didn't think he was actually making it, has made it. Not only has he made it, he's closed in, he's 8th at the moment, so he's up 9 places, chasing down Dave Hernandez, and I've got to give the man a clap there, because that is very well done for Anthony Serino, basically coming out the pits what seemed to be late, and then coming back out and doing a great job in the process. Dean, that was, there it is.
Dean Tilt, wow, one of the previous race leaders out and spinning around and down to 4th place. Well, that's a real shame for Dean Tilts, who I'm afraid has had a bit of bad luck in the last couple of open wheel rounds that we've done of this championship. He scored 9 points in the Formula V, cartwheeled through the air and scored 7 in the Super Formula Lights the week before that. And unfortunately, this is going to be a better result, but it isn't quite going to be what he was hoping for, probably, as he spins around and surely resigns to place now. Yeah, I think Anthony Serino did start from the pit lane. If he started on the circuit, he started from the back. However, he is very much a part of this race, and he's going to get to the end. He's going to get to the end in a very good position as well, as this battle between himself and David Hernandez for 7th is likely going to go down to the very end.
Yeah, I think so too, unless one of them makes an absolute hash here. Mole's in 2nd place, but he got Kosick behind him, and it's no surprise, is it? They've been together for the whole race. They might as well just velcroed themselves together, and that's it, because that is practically where they've gone. Kosick doesn't even look like he's going to make the move on the way down, but he has still got a bit of a run down into Arenberg. Kosick slots in behind him. Mole covers him off. He's going to go round the left-hander, straight down now. You're going to look for the change of tarmac colour. Start hitting the brakes there to get that V stopped. Oh, and he does do. But Mole and Kosick literally been stuck together for the whole race.
They pretty much have, mostly working together, actually, to try and catch the leaders again after losing some ground off the start. But it's been a mostly helpful pairing. as here we go, Anthony Serino round the outside of the Flugplatz. We're not going to see this very often this season. Oh my goodness, and that's why. Oh, he's going to spin wildly and somehow he misses the wall. That is spectacular and a miracle, really. Anthony Serino is the luckiest driver in this field by a long way. He's spun at the Flugplatz, the fastest corner on this circuit, at the top of the hill, and somehow he's gotten away without hitting anything.
I don't know how. But he managed it. There was just a slight little hit on the wall on his front left, gave a little bit of sparks. That was it. I have no idea. And what's worse as well, I feel really bad now because I was just bigging him up for doing a great race. And then he ends up going spinning. So, yeah, as much as I don't want to take responsibility for that one, which I probably aren't going to take responsibility, but unfortunately for Anthony Serino, he made an absolute big boy move and unfortunately didn't quite work out.
Well, he's still 8th at least, and he does have that big gap to Pettyjohn, which he should hang on to, unless he does something like that again, and in which case he will be losing a bit more time. Ball with Dan Kosick. I'm finding it hard to believe that's 1.1 seconds, but I guess maybe it is. That's what the timing screen's telling us anyway. It's interesting that Muller's been able to stretch out a margin, though, in a battle where we've very rarely seen the two of them more than a second apart, but this is only really the only remaining podium place that they're fighting over now. Corey Stas is well out in front.
Yeah, he is at the moment. Corey Stas doing an exceptional job here and out in front. Let's hope and I pray that he holds on to this first round win for Corey. I'm sure he can do it this time, and I'm sure he's not having flashbacks whatsoever to round 1 last season.
Let's see. Of course, it was a very different situation. We opened with GT3 racing 1 season ago. We're not doing GT3 racing this season, though. I'm going to compile a list of rounds we're doing for a second season in a row. This is one of them, but next week is certainly not. We didn't use the Audi 90 1 season ago, and maybe next week we'll find out why. But it should be a good race. And what's so great about this championship is that you do need to be so versatile. I mean, Evan Kratwald, after all, only won 2 rounds of the championship last season, so it does show that consistency actually is the real key. Nobody is out of the championship after this opening round, but inconsistent and being strong across the disciplines is so key. Even if you win all of the open wheel rounds and the FF1600 and the F4 in a few weeks' time and towards the end in the Pro Mazda, you can win all of those and it may not matter come the end of the season if your other rounds are not good enough. You need to be very strong across lots of different disciplines.
Do you know, when you sit back and look at a season like this, you don't sit back and think, I've got to win everything. You sit back and think, I've got to finish the race. And as it shows with Anthony Serino, who started at the back from the pits, he's now up 9 places, sitting in 8th. You don't have to win every single one, but you do have to finish every single one. And if you can finish every one, come the end of the season, you're more than likely going to be up near the front. It's as easy as that. It is consistency, consistency, consistency. That's it. Finish the race, get points on the board.
Absolutely. So this is the final lap and the final battle really to settle now on this first race of the season. Jason Housetar is catching Dean Diltz here actually, but not sure if he's quite going to have time to pass him here. 1.7 seconds behind. By the way, 4 laps in this race, of course, 4 laps in every race. That's why we changed the layout. It's a uniform distance across for all of the cars. So you come to know what to expect from the tail racing ring runners. And we're very much looking forward to bringing you another season. This is what's going on towards...
I just had a flashback that Sadler and Missick and Hernandez have crashed, but... Hernandez has. Yeah, we'll catch up on that come the end. I'll mark that one up and have a look at that a little bit later on. Stas now, well, this is it. He's just got to get to the end of Tiergarten, and he would have won it. And he will win it. I'm sure he will. I hope.
Yep. And it's going to be a bigger margin than maybe he was expecting as well, and certainly I was expecting after a couple of laps. But what a dramatic race we've seen. Corey Stas has held his own well in the battles that we've seen. After leading by more than a second or around a second at the end of the opening lap, he was reeled back in by 3 others who then crashed into each other throughout the rest of the race. But now it's about Corey Stas on his own. He was runner-up last season by only 21 points. Well, he's going to be gaining more than that here in this race, I would have thought. And a big move for Dan Kosick, who tried to pull out of the slipstream of Mull way too aggressively, and suddenly he's absolutely thrown his chance at second place away. Well, that was dramatic at the end, but not in the way we thought at all. Look at that. Kosick's going to run out of time now as he lost the rear end on the straight. Meanwhile, Corey Stas, the runner-up from the Tail Racing Ring Runners 1 season ago, is going to go one better in race 1 here of season 4 in 2024. Corey Stas, the winner in the FF1600 by over 6 seconds in the end after a dramatic and hard-fought race for him and every other driver in this field. Mull just beats Kosick to the line as well. And we've got battles further back. 9th place has re-emerged as Dave Hernandez and Evan Kratwell, 2 drivers who've had problems today, are limping to the line.
Yeah, we'll have I would say we'll try and have a look at the Kosick. I don't even know what Kosick was doing, if I'm blatantly honest there. I'm not entirely sure if he pulled out. I don't know. We were on board, so we didn't see the movement of the car, did we?
I think he was trying to pull out the slipstream so late that he had to do it so aggressively that he lost the rear end and had to catch a slide on the straight effectively. One of the more bizarre things we've ever seen in this series. But I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened. Meanwhile, this is what's going on down into Itergon. Kratwell's still got a bit of suspension damage going on here, by the way. I'm not sure if that's newly picked up or whether that's a hangover from the damage from before, but goodness me, it's not handling great. Hernandez just up ahead is not handling great either, though. He's spun on this last lap, of course. He's gone pretty deep into this final corner. Into the home straight they go. He's got a bit of a gap here as Kratwell. We're going to have a photo finish to the line in the opening race as well. Oh, he's just about going to get there too. Kratwell saves himself another couple of points as they eventually get to the line. The reigning champion, 9th on opening day, as Dave Hernandez loses a position on the last lap. Not the day that Evan Kratwell was hoping for sure, but he did recover decently well after his huge crash on the way down the hill after the Bilstein Bridge on lap 2.
Yeah, I think he's got out of it the best that he possibly can. It might go down as a drop week. I'm sure it possibly will do, to be honest, with Evan Kratwell. I don't know if he plans on having another race where he's going to be in 9th place. But at the end of the day, he's got points on the board, and I think that's all that matters. He had to finish. He had to finish the race, and that is exactly what he did as Dylan Hesselink comes over the line there in a 11th place. And then Mr. Scott Sadler come over the line in 12th. We've got quite a bit of time before Jamie Bender does.
Yes, he is miles away in about Brunchen or something like that at the moment. He's a minute and a half behind AJ Condon in 14th place. Yeah, by the way, I think Evan Kratwell finished higher on every single one of the rounds last season than at 9th place. I believe his worst score was something like 6th or 7th. Obviously, that didn't count. That was a drop score that he took. His worst score in terms of scores that he actually took through his tally was 3rd place. That's how consistent he was. So that's what you're up against if you are trying to unseat him in the championship. But surely this is going to give great confidence to Corey Stas, and he is building himself a bit of a reputation of strong open wheel performances as well. We've had, incidentally, the last 3 rounds of the Ring Runners. I know we talk all the time about cars variety being a real staple of this series, and it is, but when you take the last 2 rounds of last season and the first round of this, then you realise that the last 3 rounds have been open wheel cars, and Corey Stas has been on the podium of each of them. It's just about some of the other cars now that he's maybe got to bring himself up to speed on. I mean, everybody struggled in the Arcas, of course, but that was his worst result of the season last time around. I think he was outside the top 10 for that. You know, there's other areas for him to improve. Nothing wrong with his open wheel performance, and he's maximised it by winning here today, but he does need to do that little bit better on some of the other rounds as well.
Yeah, he got one win last season, didn't he? And that was in the Super Formula Lights. But he was let down by the V's, the Jettas. You know, he's got to really look at his overall tin tops, I think, and try to get sort of in and around and get more consistent with points, as we're just looking at Jamie Bender going down the Dotting Hope for the final time as well. But I think from Corey Stass's point of view, he'll just be happy. Maybe we won't see Jamie Bender get to the end of that one. So, yeah, bear with on that. Not entirely sure why all of a sudden we've got a freezing moment, but we can bring you up the results here as well. And we'll show you the results of the race.
And we'll try and get those replays up as well after, as promised. But Corey Stas wins by 6.6 seconds ahead of David Mull, who hangs on from Dan Kosick. Dean Diltz hangs on from Jason Hightower for 4th ahead of Alexander Bettas, the final driver, within 1 minute of the winner. Anthony Serino with a great performance to finish 7th ahead of Chase Pettijohn and Evan Crapwell, recovering from that big crash down the hill to finish 9th, just ahead of Dave Hernandez, who he beat in a photo finish. Dylan Hesselink was the first driver outside the top 10 with Scott Sadler in 12th. And Patrick Mercedes-Condon. Jamie Bender didn't make it to the end of the race. So there you go. Also, a couple of laps down were Ray Tew and Matt Green. Now then, let's have a look at some of the incidents. This was on the opening lap for Chase Pettijohn, who would eventually go on to finish in 9th, but that's how he lost a few positions on the opening lap.
Yeah, he did there as well. Now, Scott Sadler's been in the Discord. Does he get some kind of award for the first man to have an accident? Well, this is what he did. Oh, big snap for Scott Sadler on the machine there as well.
Yeah, and a little bit surprised to see it behave that way, the car actually, because he really hit the curb at the first part. I thought that would be the place where it really gets unsettled. Here's Chase Pettijohn again, who had not a very good opening lap, I think it's fair to say. And he's very lucky he didn't get damage from that. He backed it straight into the wall. I don't know who's ahead of him there.
Patrick Misek.
But,
they went off together, I think, on that one. And
I think Pettijohn wasn't going off until he saw the driver ahead of him spinning and then thought, I better hit the brakes. But if you're turning, see, that's never the best idea, but not that you can react like that at the time. Here's what happened to the two of them through the trees. Meese definitely loses it first for me. But they almost back identical contact with the wall. Only one gets damaged from it. Remarkable.
Yeah, the weird and wonderful damage model kicks in once more, doesn't it? And this is Dylan Hesselink. Oh, that was all on his own. Ooh. Unfortunately,
on the power, that's rare in these cars. Out of Bergwerk and having that awkward moment where he doesn't quite know whether to go or not, and the answer is not. This is what happened to Jamie Bender on the opening up. I think this is with Hernandez, who spooks him off the road, actually. Didn't do anything wrong there, but Bender just got himself into the grass.
Yeah, this is the Matt Green one we picked up on, and we were trying to figure out how he ended up. No, I don't think this is the earlier one for Matt. Oh, yeah, he's just going around, unfortunately, for Matt. And that
was when he was chasing the front four. We could have had 5. We're probably thankful in hindsight we didn't have 5 because of what happened in the end. But anyway, this is later on in the race, in the same lap maybe. Another spin, very similar, but this time he grabs the wall and the rear left is what he came down to repair. He did get it round to the pit lane and take his fast repair. And now this is the incident of the race. It's defined the race, really. Emmett Crutwell and Ray Tew. So it's initial contact with Diltz. It's initial contact with Diltz for Tew, who... What's that man doing floating in a tree? It's initial contact with Diltz, who goes into Tew. Now, who comes down on who here? I reckon... let's wait for it to play out before I say that. I think Diltz comes across here, and there you go. Diltz into Tew, and Crutwell's very unlucky as he gets just slightly tagged. The wheel-to-wheel contact sends Tew off on a completely uncontrollable course into the wall. He actually hits it half the way up the Armco there, which shows just how out of control that was. He had nothing to do about that at all. And Crutwell was an unlucky passenger as well. It was, I think, Ding Diltz will be the one finding himself in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think there'll be a ticket in after that. Matt Green had another moment. Once he got, the problem is for Matt, once he got past that initial spin, he was just driving above and beyond, and unfortunately had a few more incidents after. This is Mr. Bender again, having another problem. That's Dylan Hesselink right behind him. Oh, that'd be why. Matt Green's there. Beached.
Yep, and that will have spooked him. Yep, and he
Stuck.
will have damaged his front left. Oh, he's stuck. Oh, he's beached. That's why. I wondered why, because he didn't have any damage, but he's just come to a rest on the curb and realised that he can't go anywhere. And since those were the final drivers to maybe hit him off the curb, then he's returned back to pit lane, and that was that pretty much for him. This is Dave Hernandez spinning just after Horak, a pretty innocuous spin for him.
Didn't hit anything. Now this is the Anthony Serino incident. I don't think this is the first one. I think this is where he ends up getting himself caught in that battle that he was in, and then this is the next one after that.
That's seconds later.
It must be. It can't be that far apart.
Unless it's a lap apart, then, but goodness me, that's a terrible 30 seconds or so for Anthony Serino. Makes it even more remarkable that he finished 7th, actually, given the trials and tribulations he's had during this race. Now, this is at the very end of the race. Dean Dukes trying to get up to the inside of Mull, and there's a lot of contact there, and Dukes the one spin. Well, that was all awkward, actually. Dukes didn't give a lot of room to Mull, and there was a lot of contact with... yeah, that's a very messy one, I'm afraid, and Dean Dukes dropped down to 4th, where he would finish as a result of that.
Yeah, this is AJ Condon later on. You can see he just goes up over on his own. Now, this is the Evan Krautfield one. He has another one. This is after he come out of the pits, got repaired. That back end's going round. He's too fast. Onto the grass he goes. Oh, bit of a rubbish. Let's try that one again.
Rowe's not best helping us today, for whatever reason.
No, they're not. They're a bit...
We're not going to see it, and then it's going to pop into view. Here we go.
And then it's going to go out of view. There we go. We'll try and catch it like that.
Oh, there we go. And just spins around on his own. Not the best opening day for Proud. This was a remarkable moment. Anthony Serino spinning, unbelievably not hitting the wall. I still can't really fathom that.
No, he was
normally when you have a spin up there, you are destined to hit the wall.
Yeah, he was very, very lucky. Scott Sadler again. There was quite a few in this one that made some just little errors. Scott coming around the corner there just unfortunately hit the curb and away he went. Patrick Meshek just after as well. Again, not having a good race once he started getting all a little bit squirrely. A massive snap. Again, lucky he didn't hit anything on that one. And then obviously Dave Hernandez coming towards the end. There's one more with Dave after that he has. Oh, he hit the curb, unsettled the car there, Mr. O'Leary.
Yeah, we saw the back end of this as he got back going again. Fairly eventful second half to his race, actually. And then later on, goes to Flansgarten and spins around again.
Yeah, he does. I want to see
floating people around the north. I've got to say, with these replays making notes. And this is
there. It was. Yeah.
There's no contact or anything here. He's just so aggressively, or was there? Hang on, I didn't think there was contact live. No. So he loses it. He loses it. Falling out of the slipstream.
Yeah. It's just almost like he just left it too late, didn't he? He just
didn't even leave it that late. There was a big gap. But he just did it very aggressively and lost the car. It's a
very bizarre way of doing that. I've got to be honest.
That is very bizarre. Look at the amount of space he's got ahead of him when he's pulling out of the slipstream here. It's a very murky visor. That's not helping anybody. But look at the wheel work he's going to have to put in here. It's me.
Oh, how we did not take both of them out. That
close to.
It was not far away from that one at all. But that is it. That was the final thing, I think. I don't think this Jamie Bender one is really going to... These cameras are shocking. Here. And, he does have a bit of a moment there as well. So, yeah. But that was it. That was the whole foray of action.
Yep, the reel of replays, the reel of despair. at the end of the broadcast, as we always have. We'll be back again next week, of course, for the next round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners with the Audi 90 GTO, but I think it's fair to say we've got off to a good start here.
Yeah, I think we did. I think to be fair, everybody did really well, and I really look forward to seeing how this goes for the rest of the season. As I say, we can bring you up the schedule again if you haven't already seen it or aware. We've got the Audi 90 GTO, and let's face it, both me and yourself are looking forward to that one. Back in the GT4s again, FIA F4s this time. Dallara P217s, I think that is going to be an absolutely mighty race. Mini stocks, Mustang FR500s, which, as we know, we love. And I think that could be really, really interesting. Now, the Porsche Cup, the 992 car. Oh, good luck. TCRs are back once again. Pro Mazda, Arca, Radical SR8s, and of course, December 11th will be the Duck Week.
And we very much look forward to that and bringing you, of course, all the rounds here live on the, well, not live, but retrospectively, on the JPB YouTube channel. Big thanks to everyone who's tuned in here tonight for the opening round, though. I've been Ewan Leary alongside James Parfitt, and until we see you next time for the Audi 90 GTO in the second round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners for the final season in 2024, it's goodbye for now.